Hello and welcome to this Zwift Run live stream. My name is Stephen. I'm a Zwift ambassador, a community run leader and your host today. There's a countdown clock up there showing how long to go before the start of the main event, so you've probably got time to tidy the kitchen, take the trash out and grab yourself a drink before we get going. If you've never seen Zwift before, it's an online game where athletes from all over the world train, compete against and socialise with each other live and in real time. All you need to take part is a foot pod, an internet connection, access to a treadmill and a device on which to run the Zwift app. You can use a computer, an iPad, an iPhone, a high-end Android device. Zwift even works on Apple TV. If you have a smart treadmill, you don't even need a foot pod, as your treadmill will send your speed direct to Zwift. Once you've logged in and made sure your equipment is connected, you can join others live for structured group workouts or social runs. You could do a solo workout or take part in one of the many in-game challenges. You could also pit yourself against people from all over the world in a race. There are various Zwift worlds. Some are based on existing places like London, New York, Innsbruck, Richmond, Virginia and Harrogate in the UK. But the biggest world is the fictional Watopia, where you can run in glass tunnels underwater, through the middle of a volcano, in a jungle, up to the top of a snow-capped mountain and on country trails. Watopia is where the Zwift developers let their imagination fly. Like any computer game, the more you run, the higher up the levels you climb and the more virtual goodies you require. If you're a regular treadmill runner, Zwift is going to transform your training. If you're a hater, Zwift is going to change the way you think about indoor running. Before we go any further, if you're watching on YouTube, please click that subscribe button and the bell icon so you're notified every time we go live on this channel. If you're watching on Facebook, please click the like button on the Film My Run page. Film My Run is also my other YouTube channel where I post real world runs, so if you're interested in marathons, ultra running, 10Ks or triathlons, you'll find product reviews, interviews and races over on that channel. I've been running all my life. I started running long distance races in 2011 when I ran my first half marathon, and that was followed a year later by my first marathon in Paris. I've run the Paris Marathon every year since and have now run well over 100 marathons and ultras. I started using Zwift at the beginning of 2015 when indoor cycling and smart trainers really took off. In the early days, I held the long distance record for cycling of 500 kilometres on Zwift for about 48 hours. And when running started in 2016, I was the first person to run a marathon on Zwift. So if you have any questions about Zwift, if I don't know the answer, I probably know somebody who does. Okay, so now you can go and take the trash out and get that drink. And make sure you keep an eye on that countdown and be back in time for the start proper. Well, go on then, don't just sit there gawping at me. Basically, this message is going to go around in a loop again and again until the start of the run, so you may as well go and do something constructive in the meantime. Hello and welcome to this Zwift Run live stream. My name is Stephen. I'm a Zwift ambassador, a community run leader and your host today. There's a countdown clock up there showing how long to go before the start of the main event, so you've probably got time to tidy the kitchen, take the trash out and grab yourself a drink before we get going. If you've never seen Zwift before, it's an online game where athletes from all over the world train, compete against and socialise with each other live and in real time. All you need to take part is a foot pod, an internet connection, access to a treadmill and a device on which to run the Zwift app. You can use a computer, an iPad, an iPhone, a high-end Android device. Zwift even works on Apple TV. If you have a smart treadmill, you don't even need a foot pod, as your treadmill will send your speed direct to Zwift. Once you've logged in and made sure your equipment is connected, you can join others live for structured group workouts or social runs. You could do a solo workout or take part in one of the many in-game challenges. You could also pit yourself against people from all over the world in a race. There are various Zwift worlds. Some are based on existing places like London, New York, Innsbruck, Richmond, Virginia and Harrogate in the UK. But the biggest world is the fictional Watopia, where you can run in glass tunnels underwater, through the middle of a volcano, in a jungle, up to the top of a snow-capped mountain and on country trails. Watopia is where the Zwift developers let their imagination fly. Like any computer game, the more you run, the higher up the levels you climb and the more virtual goodies you require. If you're a regular treadmill runner, Zwift is going to transform your training. If you're a hater, Zwift is going to change the way you think about indoor running. Before we go any further, if you're watching on YouTube, please click that subscribe button and the bell icon so you're notified every time we go live on this channel. If you're watching on Facebook, please click the like button on the Film My Run page. Film My Run is also my other YouTube channel where I post real world runs, so if you're interested in marathons, ultra running, 10Ks or triathlons, you'll find product reviews, interviews and races over on that channel. I've been running all my life. I started running long distance races in 2011 when I ran my first half marathon, and that was followed a year later by my first marathon in Paris. I've run the Paris Marathon every year since and have now run well over 100 marathons and ultras. I started using Zwift at the beginning of 2015 when indoor cycling and smart trainers really took off. In the early days, I held the long distance record for cycling of 500 kilometres on Zwift for about 48 hours. And when running started in 2016, I was the first person to run a marathon on Zwift. So if you have any questions about Zwift, if I don't know the answer, I probably know somebody who does. Okay, so now you can go and take the trash out and get that drink. And make sure you keep an eye on that countdown and be back in time for the start proper. Well, go on then, don't just sit there gawping at me. Basically, this message is going to go around in a loop again and again until the start of the run, so you may as well go and do something constructive in the meantime. Hello and welcome to this Zwift Run live stream. My name is Stephen. I'm a Zwift ambassador, a community run leader and your host today. There's a countdown clock up there showing how long to go before the start of the main event, so you've probably got time to tidy the kitchen, take the trash out and grab yourself a drink before we get going. If you've never seen Zwift before, it's an online game where athletes from all over the world train, compete against and socialise with each other live and in real time. All you need to take part is a foot pod, an internet connection, access to a treadmill and a device on which to run the Zwift app. You can use a computer, an iPad, an iPhone, a high-end Android device. Zwift even works on Apple TV. If you have a smart treadmill, you don't even need a foot pod, as your treadmill will send your speed direct to Zwift. Once you've logged in and made sure your equipment is connected, you can join others live for structured group workouts or social runs. You could do a solo workout or take part in one of the many in-game challenges. You could also pit yourself against people from all over the world in a race. There are various Zwift worlds. Some are based on existing places like London, New York, Innsbruck, Richmond, Virginia and Harrogate in the UK. But the biggest world is the fictional Watopia, where you can run in glass tunnels underwater, through the middle of a volcano, in a jungle, up to the top of a snow-capped mountain and on country trails. Watopia is where the Zwift developers let their imagination fly. Like any computer game, the more you run, the higher up the levels you climb and the more virtual goodies you require. If you're a regular treadmill runner, afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Film My Run on Zwift. My name is Stephen Cousins and we are broadcasting live on Facebook and on YouTube. While we're getting everything ready, it would be absolutely awesome if you could go and subscribe to the Film My Run YouTube channel and also the Zwift Live YouTube channel. You can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/filmmyrun and also Twitter at filmmyrun, and the website is www.filmmyrun.com. It's very nearly time, so sit back, relax, don't forget to drop me a ride on and watch me do all the hard work. Welcome along to the Paris Marathon long run training session. The camera is fixated on me for some reason. I mean, I know I've got the face of a Adonis. The face of Adonis? Can you have it's the body of an Adonis, isn't it? Not the face of an Adonis. Well, anyway, there she is. There's the star of the show today. Victoria's running. I have done park run and cross country today. I'm in no fit state to run. So Victoria is doing our 70-minute run today. I'm supposed to have Yoko as the run sweeper, but she's not listed for some reason. Yoko should have the red beacon, but it's not come up for her. So I don't know why, Yoko. I did give you the red beacon because I thought you might enjoy having the red beacon, but unfortunately it doesn't seem to be. It doesn't seem to have appeared. I don't know why. Anyway, never mind. We'll try it again next week. Depends who's running, of course, next week. Oh, right. Kevin DeLuca says, I see Yoko with the red beacon. And Nikki, can you see Yoko with the red beacon? Okay, some people can see that Yoko has a red beacon, but it's not on our screen for some reason. I don't know why. But, I'm glad to see that some people can see Yoko with the red beacon. Right, Amy Green says, you did a quick park run. How was the cross country? Right, I got told off by Victoria because I promised Victoria this morning that I would take park run easy so I could do a good time at cross country. However, when I got to park run, there were only 25 to maybe 40 people maximum, as opposed to our usual park run in Worthing where there are 400 people. There were only 40, so I fancied my chances a bit. So I decided I would go for it a little bit. And do you know what? Whenever I run parkrun in Worthing hard, whenever I give it a good go, I tend to come second in my age category. And what position did I come in my age category at Bevendine parkrun this morning? Flipping second again. There was a guy ahead of me in the 50 category who was ahead of me. So I came second in my age category, fifth overall. There also the first lady came ahead of me. Okay. I think Yoko is saying she's struggling. Yoko, don't worry about it. Do whatever you can. Just do whatever you can. Yeah, drop the pace if you need to. Excuse me while I chat to Yoko. Hang on. I'm just messaging in game. You can chat if you want. She's concentrating on running. Yeah. Right. Come on, big yourselves up, guys. Positive talk. We want you all to get through this run. 70 minutes of running. It's the long run today, so just take it nice and easy, nice and relaxed. Tina Beard says, nothing was getting me out of running the ice hockey today. Can't risk falling these days. Oh, nothing was getting me out running in the ice today. Sorry. I don't know why I said ice hockey. I read whatever I wanted to read there, not what was actually on the screen. Nothing was getting me out running in the ice today. Can't risk falling these days. Very sensible. Tina. Gabriella says, ride on. Thank you, Gabriella. Nice to have you with us. Victoria's going to tell you all about her hilarious park run.
So Stephen decided to drive to Bevingdean, which is near Brighton. I decided to do our local park run in Worthing. I arrived at the start line to discover it had been cancelled. The promenade was deemed to be too slippery. It was just covered in frost. So I ran it anyway. Right now, I would rather be sitting on the sofa. However, come tomorrow, I will have been glad that I've done the distance today and will only have, I think, about 5k to do tomorrow for my weekly target.
Paul Hayward nearly slipped up getting the shopping out of the car today. So, yeah, it was icy. So it was probably sensible that Worthing Parkrun was cancelled. However, where I was at Bevingdean, it was on the trails, so it wasn't slippy. In fact, the ice made the going a bit firmer than usual, so it wasn't muddy. It was just a bit harder underfoot than it might have been, but I think that made it easier than if it was muddy. Yeah, Tina says it was dreadful out there today. So yeah, along the seafront at Worthing, it was very slippy indeed. So I'm not surprised that they cancelled it. Yeah, so hilariously, Victoria decided to do Worthing Parkrun anyway, even though it wasn't on. And she ran it slowly with various other people who'd also turned up. And survived the slippy ice with no problem at all. And then, hilariously, went home, had a shower, and stood on a razor and cut her toe. So, right on the bottom of her big toe. So I was called to race home for an emergency plaster application. So, Victoria thought she was going to bleed out at one point. No, she didn't. She didn't really. But we did have to get a plaster on there to help stop the bleeding. She's okay now. She's fine. She is running. I don't know how painful is it now? Right, she said. Right, I don't know what the difference is. She says it's not painful, but it's very sore. Is that not the same thing? Right, apparently that's not the same thing. So yeah, she has got a bit of soreness in her toe while she's running this evening. So big respect to Victoria, because she's a better man than me, because I bottled out of running this evening, having done my 5k and my what was supposed to be 8k cross country this afternoon, but it turned out to be just over 7k. Well, no, Victoria didn't make it to cross country, or she was there, but you were team manager, so you couldn't run. Victoria was team manager of our club today, So she wasn't running, she was making sure everybody else was running properly. Paul Hayward keeps his razor on the shelf, not on the floor. Yes, very sensible. Yeah, we're not quite so disciplined in our house. Once we've finished with the razor, just, you know, because I often shower and shave at the same time, so I have a shave in the shower. Victoria and my daughter, they use the razor in the shower as well, and we quite often just put it on the floor to the side. But obviously somebody had left their razor in the middle of the shower on the floor, and Victoria stood on it. No, we're not sure if it's just a cut or a slice of a piece of skin. Anyway, let's stop talking about injuries and cut toes. Anyone else got any stories from today? Are you having a good weekend? Have you had a good weekend so far? We've got a bit more of a lazy day tomorrow, although Ellis has got an indoor race tomorrow. So we've got to go to that. 3 races indoors tomorrow, so we've got to go to that. But we've done our main races for the weekend. I'll probably do a long run tomorrow. Heather, good evening to you. Hope you're well. Thank you very much, by the way, if you are watching on Twitch. Neil Messenger is on Twitch or Facebook. Gabriella is on Facebook or YouTube, where most other people are. Don Mega says good morning, everyone. Don Mega 70. Tina and Amy and Paul and Heather. Leo Loughran is also on Facebook. He's got 3 blisters and he's struggling to run. Well, Leo, you did go a bit crazy the past few days, so I'm not surprised you've got a couple of blisters. Amy is having Chinese after this. We've already had pizza this evening. Well, Victoria hasn't, but I have. I've had pizza this evening, so I'm already full. But I'd be quite happy to eat some more leftover pizza later on. But Amy's having Chinese tonight, so that's good. Is anybody racing tomorrow? Has anybody got any races on tomorrow? Yeah, just to let you know, by the way, we will not be running live next Saturday, because both of us will be, and Clive Finnimore as well, and Jason Mitchell. We will all be in Cornwall, and we will be on the Arc of Attrition course. Victoria and I will be live streaming the whole event. We're working for the full weekend down in Cornwall, live streaming for Mud Crew. So hopefully somebody can take over the leading of the live stream next week. If anyone wants to volunteer to lead the live stream next week, I'll be quite happy to put you on, because I now have to. Oh no, you don't have to live stream, but to lead the run with the yellow beacon. You don't have to do anything special. Just take the yellow beacon and maybe issue 1 or 2 positive messages of encouragement. It is a 75-minute run next week, so an hour and a quarter. So if anyone wants to volunteer to lead the run next week, forget live streaming. There'll be no live streaming. Or you can be the sweeper and have the red beacon. Yeah. Paris Marathon is, I think is it 9 weeks now or 8 weeks? Hold on a second. Let me look at my countdown app. Paris Marathon, 71 days. What's 71 days in weeks? 7 weeks. 10 times 7. 10. No, hang on a minute. 7 days is, 10 weeks. That's not right, is it? 10 weeks. It's 10 weeks. It's 10 weeks. Gosh, that was a bit more time than I thought then. Yeah, we've got 10 weeks left until the Paris Marathon. Heather says, we did a 10k in Aviemore today, a mixture of ice, slush and snow, and blowing an absolute hoolie. But very enjoyable nonetheless. Blowing an absolute hoolie. But very enjoyable nonetheless. Yes. Thank you. Mathematics. 10 weeks and 1 day. Leo says, I'm off to Birmingham for the National Running Show. He's looking forward to listening to Damien Hall and Eilish McLaughlin. So Damien Hall will be at the National Running Show, and he was the winner of the Spine this week. 268 miles. Well done to Damo. And yeah, Damo was from very early on. Before Damien Hall was famous, he was a subscriber to the Film My Run channel. Did you know that? Because Damien Hall and I... Now, this is I hope this doesn't sound too pretentious. Damien Hall and I started running at around about the same time. About 12 years ago. 10, 12 years ago. And funnily enough... we both started with events in the southwest. So I think I did the half marathon in Bath, Bristol. No, I did the half marathon in Bristol, and Damien did the half marathon in Bath, and those were our first races. Anyway, Damien obviously has gone on to superstar and much higher levels than me. But very early on, Damien subscribed to the Film My Run channel and has been a subscriber ever since. And as you know, if you follow the channel, I've interviewed Damien a number of times. So anyway, that all said, well done to Damien for winning the Spine last week. Yeah, lovely chap. Right, yeah, Marcus says plenty of time to get in shape with 71 days. Kevin DeLuca. 71 days is 10 weeks and 1 day, Stephen. Use your mathematics. Yeah, so Marcus is happy with that. Plenty of time to get himself fit and ready. Marcus and I will be trying for a quick time. I keep avoiding saying sub 3, but yeah, ideally under 3 hours for Marcus and I, but we'll see how the training goes. Paul Hayward said, which year did you do the Bristol Half Marathon? 2011. So that's, what, 12 years ago? Yeah, 12 years ago. Yeah, it was hilarious because it was my first ever race. And, I mean, first ever half marathon. And hilariously, we were staying in a hotel in Bristol. And as I walked back into the hotel with my medal round my neck, I got a standing ovation from all the people in the lobby of the hotel for absolutely no reason at all other than I was wearing a medal. Right, Paul Hayward did Bristol Half Marathon in 2009 and 2010. So, yeah, and I did it in 2011. And the same year, 2011, Damien Hall did the Bath Half Marathon as his first ever proper race. Right, Marcus Holmes says 2:55. Let's do it. 2 hours 55 minutes for a marathon. Well, we'll see. We'll see how the training goes. Fingers crossed. I am fairly determined to get in shape, but you just don't know, do you? You don't know what's going to happen. But we will give it. I'll give it my very best shot. So, hang on. Marcus, are you still doing Boston? Victoria wants to know. She's booked her flights. Victoria has booked her flights for Boston. So it's all good. She will definitely be there. Well, unless something else untoward happens. Leo says there is also a video of you and Damo on your channel. Yeah, there are a couple of videos, actually. Yeah, there's me interviewing Damien. A full-on hour's worth of interview, I think, something like that. And then there's also me running with Damien in the finish of UTMB. I interviewed him briefly on the way in at the end of UTMB in 2020, 18, 20, something like that. 2019, I think it was. Yeah, I filmed him finishing, yeah. Right, Heather says, did I understand correctly from the Film My Run film that you are doing a marathon as part of your marathon training? Yes, probably. I'd like to do Stenning Stinger marathon because I enjoy that marathon. It's a trail marathon, Heather. I mean, right, so you're... Okay, marathon training... When we talk about marathon training, let me just explain what I think I mean by marathon training. So when I talk about marathon training, I mean training to get a particular time in a flat road marathon, or training to get a particular time in a marathon. I like to, without trying to sound big-headed, and I hope you don't think it does, I like to think that I could run a marathon, you know, whenever you asked me. If you said run a marathon tomorrow, I could run a marathon. I could get round. It might not be pretty, it probably wouldn't be that quick, but most of the time I can just run a marathon. And I'm sure many of you guys, Marcus does so many miles a week. Leo, most people actually, because we run on Zwift all the time, don't we? You guys all run on Zwift all the time. If you had to, you could probably crack out a marathon tomorrow if you really had to. And like I say, it might not be pretty, but you'd get it done. So marathon training is all about trying to get faster for whatever marathon you choose to do. And one of the ways I like to train sometimes is to do hilly trail marathons as part of my training for a flat road marathon. Victoria, I think, wants to say something.
Yeah, Heather, I think from memory, Stephen and I did a hilly marathon distance run as part of my Paris marathon training last year. All about time on feet and the body knowing that it can do the distance. So classically, people run up to 20 miles in marathon training. I actually do like that idea of doing a marathon distance, but really, really slow. I think we did 6 hours, might have been more, just so the body feels good.
Yeah, so Tina Beard says, I can run a half marathon anytime I want, but not a marathon. So yeah, and that is just about level of training, isn't it? So, and number of miles that you do per week. And Victoria was at that stage as well at one time. I think Victoria would say that if she really had to run a marathon tomorrow, she probably could get round. But at one stage, Victoria was like you. She could do a marathon, a half marathon anytime she wanted, but she wouldn't be able to. She didn't think she'd be able to do a marathon. So yeah, and Leo says you are more than capable of running a marathon with a month out, Stephen. Your endurance won't leave you, but your speed will decrease. Yes, that's generally, what you find is that you can take a bit of a break in training or reduce your mileage, and what will suffer probably is your speed rather than your endurance. So you can usually keep your endurance and do long distance, but it won't be quick. What you're training for is to speed up, to get faster. So, talking about distance and speed, Victoria is running 9 kilometres per hour at the moment with the yellow beacon, and she is 3.5 kilometres in, and we're coming up to 25 minutes of running. So the whole run is 70 minutes, an hour and 10 minutes. So we're still a little bit away from halfway, about 12 minutes away from halfway. Cracking on through the streets of France. Paul Hayward says he's about the same as Tina. He can get round a half marathon, no problem. Anytime you're asked, do a half marathon. Yeah, probably crack that out, but not quite a marathon just yet. So when we get to halfway, I've got something to show you. So stick around. If you were thinking of leaving, don't go anywhere. Because when we get to halfway through this run, which is, 35 minutes? When we get to 35 minutes, I've got something to show you. It's very exciting. Well, maybe not that exciting. Right, Leo says, are you a boxing fan? Short answer, no. If you are you looking forward to the fight tonight? I'm hoping Liam Smith will win. No, Leo, I don't... sometimes I'll watch the really big fights, but not very often. So no, I'd probably say no. I don't Right, here's my level of boxing knowledge. I don't know who Liam Smith is. So there's my level. Right. We still can't see Yoko with the red beacon, but she is with us. She is about 40 seconds behind Victoria.
Marcus has said his biggest advice to me in preparation for Boston Marathon is to train for the downhill if you're not used to it. Marcus, I have heard that. And a member of our running club did Boston, and he's a very good runner. I think he can comfortably do sub 3, and he got injured doing Boston. He had hip flexor issues at the end, where he hadn't trained for that. I think everybody thinks about Heartbreaker Hill and forgets that there's a net decline, net downhill. Okay, Marcus says his quads are always destroyed by mile 21. Blimey, if your quads are destroyed, I don't know what I'm going to be like. But I have got to get to that start line of London 6 days after Boston. Marcus, I'm hoping I will be disciplined and just take Boston nice and steady. It's all about completing it for me and then getting to the start of London and take in all that atmosphere. I'm really looking forward to it. Jeff Partridge is saying that's also good advice for when people do comrades. Presumably the downhill. Jeff, I have no plans of doing that. Is that the one that they do in 2 different directions, alternate years? Yeah. Marcus says there's nothing better than running into Boston after Heartbreak Hill. I'm intrigued there about all this kissing malarkey. Because am I correct though, it's only the college women that go out and kiss the men? And then I'll have nothing.
Yoko says, hello Stephen and Victoria, thank you for the red beacon. I can run with a smile. Yeah, always important. As Amy Green always tells us, run with a smile on your face. Keep smiling as you run, because it's all about chemicals, and smiling releases those endorphins, keeping you motivated, keeping you positive, keeping you happy, and keeping your body moving. Yeah. Right, Leo says, how do you continue to run with blisters? I have 3 to... right, I hope that's not 32. I have 3. Oh, I see. I have 3. 2 on my toe. What? 1 on both heels is... Right, I can't work out how many blisters Leo has. However, Compeed. But you need Compeed. Put Compeed on them. But the other thing is to not get blisters in the first place. So what I would do, Leo, unless you're really prone to blisters, getting the right socks and the right shoes. I mean, you're an experienced runner, you know what you're doing, but getting the right socks and the right shoes is really important in preventing blisters. I mean, I rarely get blisters. Only if I'm doing a really tough, gnarly 100 miler. So I got blisters when I did the Lakeland 100 because it was wet all the time. I had stones in my shoes that I ran for 20 miles with the stones in my shoes and longer. and I didn't sort my feet out when I should have done. I got blisters then. But if I'm running a marathon or, you know, an average trail run, I never get blisters. So I don't know if it's just because I'm lucky or whether I've managed to find a combination of socks and shoes that works, or I don't know. Right, Clive is back from his son's football match, had to treat him to burger and chips. So I don't now have to cook. Well, that's good. No cooking, no washing up. That's what I like. That's why we've ordered pizza tonight. So, oh, we didn't order pizza. Oh, no, we've cooked pizza. Of course we have. Sorry, stupid me. Anyway, hang on a second. Victoria's desperate to tell you about dinner last night. Because I'm going to get told off for not doing it properly. So I'm going to keep the microphone as long as I can. Jeff Partridge, no, ups and downs runs will smash your quads. Yeah, up and down will smash your quads in. Leo's asking how Jeff is feeling. Hello, right, Leo says, hello Vic, sorry for not saying hi. He hopes you're well and that I'm looking after you. Oh God, I'm definitely not handing you the microphone now. Tina says, I wondered where Clive was. Yeah, Clive had to go to take his son to football. Jeff Partridge says, give me 20 minutes and I'll tell you about blister treatment. Yeah, I'll bet you are. I bet you have. What else have we got going on? Right, Jeff, you've got 20 minutes to tell us about blister treatment. Go on. Having just run for 50 hours over some of the toughest terrain in the UK, Jeff Partridge probably knows a thing or two about blisters.
Yeah, I'm still seething about yesterday. So, having worked a full day at my desk and then doing my 10-mile training run and then going to my deep water workout class, I asked Stephen to be in charge of dinner last night. I thought it was quite reasonable to ask. So I got home from my class, looking forward to my dinner. Stephen had fed himself and our children, and there was nothing for me. Apparently, I didn't make it clear enough that I wanted to partake in dinner last night. When have I ever missed out on a meal? And does Stephen make it clear every day that he would like dinner? I just assume that he would like to eat. Clive, no, I didn't go and get a pot noodle. I went and bought some sausages and some finger rolls, and I cooked myself a hot dog. So I still ended up cooking. But it's all I could be bothered with.
Kevin DeLuca says, Stephen has the same skills in mathematics and cooking dinner. Rubbish. Thanks, Kev. Marcus says, I would have made Stephen go out for fish and chips. Look, I was instructed to make sure the kids were fed. Right, in charge of dinner. So in charge of dinner in my eyes means making sure the kids are fed. And the adults can look after themselves later. So that's what we did. I cooked dinner for the children. Both of them were fed. I just had the leftovers. It was beans on toast, Clive. Yes. It was beans on toast. Well, nothing wrong with beans on toast. And look, it was what's the word for posh food? Cordon bleu beans on toast. It was cordon bleu beans on toast because not only was it beans on toast, but it was Marmite on the toast, then the beans on top, and then grated cheese on top of that, and black pepper on top of that. So that is quality beans on toast for the children, I'll have you know. And Michelin starred beans on toast, and I had the leftover beans on toast at the end.
He just happened to cook enough for 3.
No, right, wrong again. There was enough for 2 with a little bit left over. I was still hungry at the end. Right, Clive Finnemore says, I agree, Stephen. I'll sort the kids first and then eat the leftovers. Exactly, which is what I did. I was perfectly happy for us to have something more afterwards when Victoria gets home. We then have more food. Kevin says you need to take some. You definitely need to take some French cooking lessons, Stephen. What's the difference between French cooking and English cooking? Not French food and English food. What's the difference between French cooking and English cooking? Right. Heather says, "Oh, Clive, you traitor!" She probably says it like that. Right, Clive, I never said when Victoria gets home and cooks. I never said that. The fact that she did is by the by, but I never said that she did.
Kevin, yes, I concur with that. French cooking is really good. Trouble is, he couldn't even muster up a croque monsieur if he tried.
Victoria, can you scroll through? Oh no, don't worry. I'll do it. You're getting hot. Do you want the window open? Who's Airbnb?
Marcus is suggesting that Stephen cooks for all the Zwifters at Marcus's Airbnb in Paris.
Oh, right.
Marcus, I really don't think you'd want that. In 14 years, I've known Stephen to cook one decent meal. He made a fish pie about 12 years ago.
Right, I am now about to unbox. Okay, I did promise you that halfway round I would show you some stuff. So, in the post, about an hour ago, literally about an hour ago, the doorbell rang, and it was the delivery guy from Every or Hermes, whatever they're called these days. So I now have a towel. So that's the new Zwift Tour of Zwift towel. So that's good. We have a pair of Tour of Zwift socks that I've not opened. Let's open them now. If I can get into them. Hang on a second. Where's the entrance to this packet? Here it is. Okay. Socks Tour de Zwift, it says on it. Look, they do look all right. Is it auto-focusing? Come on, needs to auto-focus. There it is. Pedal Mafia is the company that's made them. Hang on, I've got to bite the plastic off. Why is it that when you bite the plastic of these things, you then lose the little... There it is. Got it. Right, so... socks. Oh. So, there... So, I've got one orange sock. Is it a smiley face? Where? Oh, yes. Yeah, one orange sock with the... It's the thumbs... Yeah, the thumbs up thing, look. Amy Green's jealous. Right, Victoria thinks she's going to nab these socks. So there's the back of... So there's the socks. It's got Pedal Mafia on the front. Hang on. And they're a bit... They feel nice, but they feel a little bit thin. They're not like big, soft... cozy socks. They are definitely thin, workman-like, not workman-like socks at all. There you go. Right, Clive Finnemore says if you get 2 pairs, you can match them up. So you could have 2 green ones and 2 orange ones. Yeah. It's a for me and Victoria. This is a throwback to the 1980s when I don't know if you ever got into this. The phase of wearing neon, and you wore one green neon sock and 1 pink neon sock, and that was the thing. That was the cool thing to do. All the cool kids were doing that. Yellow and pink for Victoria. It was. Well, that's the same as greenish yellow, isn't it? Right, and the final thing comes in this bag here. Which is as yet unopened. It is the Tech T-shirt. So let's open this up. So it's a little Ziploc bag, and we'll see if this fits. Well, I'm not going to put it on now. To be honest, should I put it on now? I'll wear it tomorrow night. So if we do, hang on a minute. What are we doing tomorrow night? So we're going to do... Right, I'm going to run stage 4 again tomorrow with Victoria. So I don't know how long it is. It's a 5k, isn't it? So I will wear this kit tomorrow. But because I love you, you get to see it early. It feels like it's a little bit big. But who knows? It does look nice, but it's definitely too big. It's definitely too big, I can see already. What size have I got here? It says medium on it, but that is too big, surely. I have a feeling that's going to be too big for me, but I will wear it tomorrow. I can't see what it's doing on the camera. Yeah, Tina says you could go camping in that. Yeah, I haven't, obviously I've not put it on yet. That's the first time I've got it out the bag. It does feel and look like it's a bit big, but we'll see. What in-game ones? Oh, right, real world. Sorry. You can't hear what Victoria is saying, can you? Victoria is asking, who was it who was asking in-game? Kevin DeLuca, we think, was asking in-game about the running shirts. Is it still possible to buy one? I don't think so, Kevin. I don't think they haven't renewed them, and I'm not sure if they are going to. Certainly not at the moment, anyway. Sorry. Oh yes, this will all be the new. Yeah, this is all the new font. This is just for Tour of Watopia, though. Tour of Zwift. I don't know if you all realised that a few weeks ago, Was it months ago? There was a new font for the Zwift words. The words Zwift are now written in a different font, so they've had to change all their branding to this, which is it's only a slightly new font. Right, Clive Finnemore says put it in the tumble dryer and that will sort the size out. Yeah, Victoria's always telling me not to put stuff in the tumble dryer because it'll shrink. And Paul Hayward says, yeah, Clive, you know how to shrink tops. Nikki preferred the old style font. Yeah, a lot of people said they did prefer the old style font. To be perfectly honest, I couldn't see an awful lot. I mean, I can tell it's different, but I couldn't see a massive amount of difference. I'm getting cold in here because the door's open, but I'm sure that Victoria is not cold. 6.85 kilometres in, 45 minutes done, so we have 25 minutes left of the run. Let me just chat to people in game. Do you want a microphone, Vic?
minutes to go. We've already done 45. It really is so much easier to run in a group like this. Stephen's just realised the camera angles aren't on. Is that because no, you've run since I ran. Marcus is asking, how detailed does my medical form need to be for Paris? Marcus, there is a blank medical form on the website, and you just have to get your doctor to sign it.
France and I think Italy are one of the very few countries where you need a medical certificate for all sporting activities. It's basically for insurance purposes for the company that's organising the run or the event. It's French law, and it's basically so that the company, if there was an accident or if somebody had a medical issue, they could potentially sue the company, and having that document is just some kind of insurance for the company. Kevin says it needs to mention that you are allowed to practice in a running competition. And if you download the one on the website, so if you go to the Paris Marathon website, log into your portal on the Paris Marathon website, you can download a blank form that has all the details on that you need. And then you just take it to a GP, a doctor, or there are online services. So there is a service called sportingmedicalcertificates.com. I think it's that, sportingmedicalcertificates.com. They'll charge you about $100, 65 UK pounds, to get your certificate signed by a medical professional. Some GPs, some doctors refuse altogether to do it. Some charge the earth and some do it for free. And it's, who knows what the rules are for signing these things. But Marcus, if you want to ask me anything about it later on Messenger, we can do that. So that's and that's caused a big problem with parkrun in France. All parkruns in France are now suspended because they can't get round the medical certificate issue. As it is, every sporting event you take part in France has to have a medical certificate, and that includes parkrun. So you can't just turn up on a Saturday morning and run parkrun in France anymore because everyone has to have a medical certificate, and you can't do that every week. It's a practical impossibility. Clive said it cost him £30, 30 UK pounds. And Victoria says it's about that for RGP. Clive says, I wonder if Ellis can put the ball through the gap in the doors. Ellis, can you... no, he can't do that because he'll get told off by his parents. Everybody's noticed that Ellis is playing football in the garden behind us in the dark and the cold. That's what kids are supposed to do. Children are supposed to play football in the back garden in the cold, in the winter. That's what 80s life was all about. Yeah, Kevin DeLuca. By the way, Kevin DeLuca, who is French, if you weren't aware, and lives in France. Yeah, he says he saw that about parkrun. He says it's very frustrating, French administration and rules, unfortunately. Yeah, that's the way it goes. So, 7.6 kilometres in, 50 minutes done now. 20 minutes to go of our long run here. The Paris Marathon long run training. Every week we'll get 5 minutes longer. So we are at 70 minutes, next week 75 minutes, and the last run that we do, the last Paris Marathon long run we do, will be 2 hours long. Yeah, Ellis is still practicing his skills in the back garden there. Elsa is not practicing football skills. She will be upstairs watching TikTok. Probably. Or Love Island. I can't believe my daughter has got into Love Island now. It's a crime against humanity. But there's nothing you can do. Sometimes you just have to, roll with it and let the kids do things that you would never do as an adult. But there we are. Love Island it is for my daughter.
Yeah, Marcus can see why some doctors wouldn't want to sign the form. What was... It transfers liability to the doctor. But what was weird was the first time I ran Paris, I asked my GP to sign a form to say that I could run Paris Marathon. And they said, no, we won't do that. But then... a friend said, oh, it's how you ask. So I then went back and said, would you please sign a private medical certificate? Oh, yes, certainly. Utter nonsense. We don't need to have an actual medical examination. On our medical records, it states that both Stephen and I run marathons or ultras, and they're now quite happy to just sign it and still take our money for it. But the requirement for Paris Marathon, I don't know, Kevin, if it's across French law. The certificate is valid for 1 year. So I ran Paris Marathon in the October and the following April, and I could use the same medical certificate for both marathons. Stephen is just saying in game, next week we increase to 75 minutes. Each week we add an additional 5 minutes to our run.
Right, Amanda says, my GP said I needed a medical examination before they would sign anything, and it would cost her 150 quid. Amanda, what did you do in the end? Like I said, medical certificate, sportingmedicalcertificates.com will issue you with a certificate for, I think it's UK about £65. But as Clive said, he just went to his GP and it cost him £30. Kev says each year 5 minutes visiting his GP and an autograph for the medical certificate and €25 of cost. So every year, €25 for the signature. But that's cheap. Yeah, that's cheaper than the UK. So Amanda, yeah, what did you do in the end? Surely you didn't pay £150. I mean, that's madness. Yeah, Jeff Partridge said he used sporting medical certificates for the TDS. The GP did it for free for UTMB though, pre-pandemic. So you can get them to sign it for free sometimes. It just depends how friendly your doctor is. I guess that wouldn't work in the US where they definitely want to charge you for everything. But if you've got a friendly GP in the UK, you might still be lucky and get away with getting it signed for nothing. Otherwise, yeah, like Jeff said, use sporting medical certificates. They'll definitely do it for you. It'll just cost you a bit more money. Kevin DeLuca says, yeah, the €25 doesn't mean you have to have a health check at all. So essentially, it's useless. He's just, yeah. But the thing is, like I said before, it really is just insurance. It's nothing to do. It's nothing to do with how healthy or how fit you actually are to run a marathon. They're not interested in that at all. What they're interested in is like Marcus says, liability. All it is the French government wanting to kind of mitigate against loads of individuals suing companies for accidents, or even suing companies, faking injury to get money out of companies. Right, hang on a minute. Marcus's doctor said no way he would run a sub-marathon, so he wouldn't sign it. Oh my goodness. A sub-3 marathon. Yeah, you just have to yeah, you just have to say, oh no, 5-hour marathon. So, right, hang on a minute. That means your doctor looked at you, Marcus, and said there's no way that you'll be able to run a sub-3 hour marathon. Oh dear. Yeah, jerk, says Marcus. Right. We are coming up to an hour's worth of running here. Not far off now. Yeah. Right. He said, like Stephen Cousins, you are too obese. I'll have you know, I have now dropped enough weight to no longer be classified officially as obese. My body weight is now, my fat percentage is now below 25%. Kevin DeLuca says, Marcus is allowed to run the Paris Marathon, but a sub-3 is forbidden because he's simply not fit enough, according to Marcus's doctor. Amy Green says, it's not exactly the same, but I wanted a letter for the airport carrying my insulin on me. The GP wanted £35. The diabetic nurse at the hospital just did it for free with no issue. Yeah, that is exactly the same, Amy. It's the same kind of thing. It's, you know, that's the problem with the NHS in this country. Here we go with politics. It's the problem with the NHS in this country being partly private and partly public funded. So, you know, the NHS is really supposed to be a free service for all, but certain parts of the NHS, you know, are essentially private. So dentistry, I mean, we all know we have to pay for prescriptions, and a lot of our dentistry stuff we have to pay for. And GPs are often in charge of their own budgets. Kevin's off, by the way, so thank you, Kevin. Bye, Kevin. GPs are in charge of their own budgets, so the more money they can make, the more money they've got to spend on other things. So essentially, that's like a private company. Don't know. So, yeah, anyway, there we are. Jeff Partridge says, Leo, if you want to know about blister treatment, I will message you directly. All right, Amanda says, because I asked Amanda how, because they were going to charge her 150 quid for a medical examination before they'd sign anything for Amanda. She went online. I was worried I'd have the examination and they wouldn't sign because of my knee. Oh, yeah. But it was all right. Okay, good. Right. With 10 minutes to go now, we are at 9 kilometres in.
That hour has flown by. 60 minutes done, 10 to go.
Hello, Sebastian. He said, I had a delicious vegetarian pizza today, and now I'm sitting on the sofa watching Victoria. What better thing could there be to do? Vegetarian pizza, although I had pepperami pizza, so not quite vegetarian, not at all vegetarian. And I'm standing watching Victoria. So yeah, you're sitting watching Victoria. I'm standing watching Victoria. What's everyone else doing? Is anyone lying down watching Victoria in the bath? Watching Victoria? Right, Victoria says, Sebastian, how are you getting on without your son at home? Oh, do you know what? I don't recognise this part of France. Look on the screen, guys. We're running by a river, and it's beautiful. I don't think I've seen this bit before. Neil Messenger's off. Thanks, Neil. Right, yeah, Clive is watching Victoria whilst planking. I'm sure he is. That is all Clive does now. He runs and planks. Runs and planks. Runs and planks. Has some food. Feeds the pigeons. Runs and planks. Runs and planks, runs and planks. Feeds the tortoise. Who is? Oh, yeah. Victoria says Clive Finnemore's supposed to be tapering, but Victoria reckons he's still doing more running than she is. I'm not sure that's true. Clive is definitely being a little more disciplined about his taper this year. Clive Finnemore reckons that it won't be long until Sebastian's son's room becomes his new gym. Sebastian went to his son's apartment and measured it today. So that's what he's been doing. Right, Clive says, don't forget Plank Club. Okay, we'll try and remember to plank at 9 p.m. tonight. So if you're not aware, we've started Plank Club. There's no rules apart from you have to do a plank at some point. Right, Victoria says you have to do it correctly, but there's no definitive rule on what a correct plank is, because you and Tina like to do it arms straight, whereas I do it arms bent, and most sensible people do arms bent. Tina's already done her plank at lunchtime. It's on Strava. She says, Victoria says she does arms bent. Okay. Right. Yeah. Right. Victoria says she can't do planking now because it hurt her back last time she did it. So she's wimping out of Plank Club. And Neil says, thank you. Yeah, I remember. Neil says, thank you for the run. Yeah, Victoria and I did a competition a few years ago where we did a plank a day for 30 days. And we did get up to 5-minute plank, I think, didn't we? It's amazing how quickly you can improve. And the problem is when you miss out for a day or so, which is what I've been doing. I've been doing a plank and then missing a day or two and then planking again. And you don't improve. I can do about 2 minutes and then that's me done. Amy Green says, I can't plank. I'm sure you can. Even for 10 seconds, you could manage to do a little plank. Paul Hayward says, why not make it a double plank day, Tina? Tina thinks that's hilarious. Double plank day, come on. 1 plank at lunchtime, 1 plank in the evening. Try it on your knees, Amy. Yeah, so Amy, if you can't do a full plank, put your arms down in the normal planking position, but then rest on your knees as well. So that's a good start. Jeff Parger says, how about 2 short planks? I don't know. I think you're thick if you do 2 short planks. Right, we are not far off now. Victoria is almost at 10k. We have 5 minutes to go, and it's flown by. It's been really quick, so I'm looking forward to a cup of coffee. And we'll try and remember to do Plank Club at 9 o'clock this evening. So yeah, I was explaining about the rules of Plank Club. There are no rules, other than do a plank at some point, and then you're in Plank Club. But we tend to try and, if we remember, we say we'll do a plank at 9 p.m. after our daily runs. So we'll do a plank at 9 p.m. tonight if we remember, and then it'll go up on Strava so everyone can see. If you want to, you can do a photograph or a video of yourself doing it. We've been trying to do around 2 minutes, but do as long as you want, or as short as you want. Paul Hayward hasn't got his planking off the ground yet, but he does hope to start soon. Good luck with all your planking needs, Paul, and good luck to everyone. Hope you find happiness in your planking, and best of luck with all your planking in the future. Paul Hayward saying he hasn't got his planking off the ground yet. And very quick off the mark, Jeff Partridge says, does that mean, Paul, you're just lying down? Very good, Jeff. I like it. I didn't think of that. That's quick. That is quick. Yeah, planking and lying down. Essentially, Pilates, Tina and Victoria. No?
Don't go there, Mr. C.
Amanda is a convert to the new style of planking that Jeff has just invented. It's the planking that hasn't quite got off the ground yet, and it's called lying down. So Amanda is well into that. Yeah. I actually quite like that. Zone 1 heart rate, nice low heart rate, just lying on the ground for as long as you want, really. I mean, 2 minutes. If you can manage 2 minutes of lying on the ground, then go for it. Some people might only be able to manage 10 seconds, 30 seconds, and that's absolutely fine. If that's all you can manage, then just do what you can. Victoria is quite experienced at, because she's been doing it for quite a while, the new form of planking. She can now manage 7 or 8 hours of planking, of lying down. So the more you do it, the better you will become at it. So good luck with your lying down. Hope that you can improve over the years, over the weeks that we do lying down club, as it is now called. Right. All this stupidity has led us to 2 minutes to go. Can Victoria make it to 11 kilometres in 2 minutes? I don't think so, because we're at 10.2. So Victoria will be quite happy to stop at 10.5 kilometres, I think, which is about where she'll get to. Clive Finnemore says any plank is better than no plank at all. Yes. So the lying down plank is better than no plank at all. Keep smiling as you do your lying down plank. I might do an up plank, a plank club plank at 9 o'clock, and then a lying down plank at about 11 or 12 o'clock tonight. Victoria is now suggesting a standing up against the wall plank. So you just kind of stand up and you lean against the wall very slightly. Has anyone tried a side plank yet? Yes. I think I did a few years ago. I did what's it when you go around different sets in a circuits? I did circuits a few years ago, and we did some side planks in there. So 30 seconds on one side and 30 seconds on the other side. I seem to remember. Yeah, side planks is a thing. Heather says side planking is killer. Very tough, she said. Yeah, I can't remember much about it. I do remember doing it, though. Right. Clive Finnemore says, what about an elevated feet plank? So you lie down on your front, You lift your torso up on your arms, and then you lift both feet in the air. Yeah, that's so I'm sure that Tina will be trying that tonight. Yeah, well, gosh, we're finished. We are done. There we go. 10.5 kilometers. 1 hour, 10 minutes done. I should have got the messaging out earlier, shouldn't I? Because it's all gone small now.
Well done, everyone, and thank you to everyone who's joined in the chat. 17 minutes is just flown by.
I've got voice ache now, throat ache from talking so much. Yeah, it's all gone a bit flanking mad, says Clive. Sebastian says, well done, Victoria. We will do stage 4 tomorrow evening, and I will wear, however big it is, I will wear the new Zwift Tour of Zwift kit. Yoko, thank you very much for carrying the red beacon tonight. Remember, next week it's 75 minutes, but we will not be here because we will be in Cornwall. If anyone wants a yellow or red beacon for next week, please let me know. You don't have to do anything, apart from maybe just issue 1 or 2 encouraging messages to runners next week. Please don't use next week as an excuse to not turn up because we're not there. If you're training for a marathon in the spring, then please do keep up the training. Consistency is key with marathon training, so keep coming. We will be back the week after. Of course, you'll see us this week and next week. But the Paris Marathon long run, Victoria and I are looking for a red and a yellow beacon to run next week. See you next time, Clive. Paul Hayward says, thank you, Victoria, well done. Running with a sore toe. Amanda says, well done, Victoria. Heather says, well done, Victoria. Jeff says, lol, Heather. Why, what's Heather been saying? I missed the comment there. Anyway, we are off. Thank you very much for joining us. We're going to go and have showers and coffee and do some lying down planking. So we will see you. Yoko says, thank you very much. Thank you, Yoko. And we'll see you tomorrow for the MHG run at lunchtime and the community run in the evening. No, hang on. Tomorrow we're doing... Yes, it's not Monday tomorrow. It's Sunday tomorrow. We're doing stage 4. Stage 4 tomorrow. And then Monday is the MHG run and the community run with Clive. Although Clive will be walking probably, won't you, Clive, I imagine, because he is tapering. Yeah, tomorrow is Sunday. I keep feeling like today's Sunday. Tomorrow is Sunday. So, stage 4 tomorrow, wearing my Tour of Zwift kit. Jeff Partridge is sweating just watching us. Right, thank you very much, everybody. Take care, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye, all.